Hello, welcome back to episode 3 of my tutorial. I hope it's not been too dry for you guys, and thank you for sticking around. I hope you get some value out of this. I'm doing it for myself as well, so we're learning together. I left you on the dynasty and house titles, so let's just go through this. It says there are 4 parts to this one, so let's just crack on. Family is important. The player heir will always come from your dynasty and most often from your house, but not always. In the future, it won't hurt to keep an eye on your family and their line of succession. Depending on their succession laws, you might end up inheriting titles along with land and vassals from your relatives, as I was talking about in part 2. I did click that, yeah. Not everyone in your dynasty will be landowners, but every plot of land on the map has an owner. Sometimes that owner is you, sometimes it's one of your vassals, and sometimes it's another realm entirely, many of whom also have or are vassals. Most titles are structured together in a pyramid-like fashion using title tiers: county, duchy, kingdom, empire. Every tier belongs to a title one rank up the chain. Every county is technically part of a duchy. Every duchy is technically part of a kingdom, and every kingdom is technically part of an empire. Note, there are many dynamic names for these titles as well. Your current ruler is in charge of a petty kingdom, which corresponds to the duchy tier. Right, so there are regional differences in the names of your land, but it's always in that tier. There are also barons, the minor rulers of single holdings beneath counts. These characters are generally quite minor and unplayable. You do have one, the Mayor of Innis. Let's have a look. We say technically because as Crusader Kings lets you play with history, there is no way to guarantee that a king is actually in charge of all the titles that his kingdom is supposed to contain within its borders. We call this hierarchy de jure, and if the structure has been broken, it is often possible to declare war over such territories. So as I was talking about before, if in episode 1 or 2, I'm not quite sure, if I owned all the land except Dublin, I could declare myself king of Ireland, but I don't own Dublin. I can then ask him to become my vassal, and with that I give him protection. If anyone attacks him, then we will all, me and my gang, will all defend him. On the flip side, I get taxes for that, and I also get access to his troops. So there is strength in numbers, but everyone here also has his eye on the prize of being the top man. So we are strong together, but also I have to watch through people attacking from within, so to speak. Right, if you switch to the Duchy Titles map, let's get rid of that. Yeah. You can see that as the ruler of the Duchy of Munster, the County of Desmond here should legally be part of your realm. So he should kowtow to me. He should be, what's that? Is that a church? It is. So he should, all this land here should be mine. The different map modes can help give you an overview of the de jure title structures. Return to Realms map mode by clicking that. I understand. The de jure title of Munster consists of 3 counties. Their names should be visible on the map. They are Thomond, Ormond and Desmond. Desmond held by a neighbouring ruler, and Ormond held by your vassal. These counties are made up of smaller pieces of land called baronies. It's on this level we find your holdings. Ta-da! Holdings provide different levels of taxes and levies, as well as buildings that you can construct and upgrade depending on the building type. It is not very important what you build right now, but we suggest you start by upgrading the bastion and curtain walls. So, click on that. So this is the tech tree, so to speak. Wall towers, tells you how long and how much it cost. So, the first step of any respectable fortification is the erection of curtain wall. So, takes 3 years, 225 gold, comes off the top, gives me 0.2 extra taxes. The fort level goes up by 1, and I get an extra 150 men inside the fort. So at the moment it's 472. The supply limit, oh right, it's in the thousands. So I upgrade. Takes 3 years. Well done. It will take some time for build to ready though. Luminich wasn't built in a day. Once your construction is completed, you will receive the benefits of the building you chose. Next. Every holding provides taxes. Yes. I can't click on that. If that holder is a vassal, they will also pay taxes to the liege. Taxes provide your main income of gold. Obligations can affect how high or low these taxes are. Times of war also affects the levels of control in a county, which in turn affects taxes. I understand. As a ruler, you are likely to be the liege of at least one vassal. These are rulers within your realm who have sworn fealty to you. Vassals supply you with money and soldiers. It is possible to both be a liege and a vassal at once. Open the realm view on the right hand side. No. Here is a list of your current vassals. So Earl Ragnvald Sigtrygson and Mayor Dolgus, whose land you can see on the map. This is an earldom, a county tier title inside your realm. Go here for an overview of things such as your vassals' current opinion of you. He don't like me. Why doesn't he like me? He's impatient. I've only had a short reign, and you have a foreign culture. Right. It's worthwhile keeping your vassals happy. This keeps them out of schemes and factions against you. No matter how mighty a ruler your character is, if your realm unites against you, either to depose you through war or to murder you while you sleep, your reign is bound to be cut short. Right. There is a limit to how many vassals you can control. So my vassal limit is 20. Because I'm a duke. Because my title is duke or petty king, I have 20 vassals I can have. I see here that I personally can hold 5. I hold 1 at the moment, but I can personally hold 5 items of land. It's interesting. This doesn't matter for the tutorial, but when you start to build your own kingdom, be mindful of growing too fast. So, that's my limit. That's interesting. Right, what's next? Your realm is the complete body of land and titles that you own, including the areas held by your vassals. Right now, for you, this means the county's earldoms, due to your Irish culture, of Thomond and Ormond. When domain is used, we are instead referring to the land that you personally own. Yes, without vassals. Thomond. So I own all of this. This is all mine. Apart from this bishopric, by the looks of it. Yes. I have a bishop. But what about this one? And I have a mayor. So they work directly under me. Okay. Right. Some things that happen will only affect your domain, while other things will impact your entire realm. Okay. Note there is a limit to how much land you can hold personally before you start incurring penalties. Alright, that's what I was talking about up here. Right, interesting. When you go above your domain limit, it can be a good idea to use the grant titles interaction on characters you are friendly with, making them your vassals. As you have no spare titles to give away, you cannot currently do this, but you would otherwise find it in the character menu, visible when right clicking. So if I went to him, I could grant title. Right, modify feudal contracts. Sanctioned. Council rights. Forced partition. That's interesting. Right. I understand. Managing realms is a lot of work. As a ruler, you have the help of your council. These can be either vassals or members of your court, and they act as your trusted advisor. There is one corresponding to each area of skill. Married rulers also have their spouse assisting them. Right, click on that. Councillors can be set to work and they do all different things. Religious relations, blah blah blah. Foreign affairs, well, there's assigned to foreign affairs. Okay, so I can send them off to do things from each one. Steward, Chancellor, Bishop, Marshal, Spy Master. You can change council titles, click on the button. Being a council is a prestigious position. Powerful vassals will expect to be chosen for it and will be unhappy if they're left out. I've got my guy who doesn't like me on there, so it's a bit annoying. Right. Schemes are long-term goals aimed at another character. They can have hostile goals like murder, abduction, befriend. Open the intrigue menu. Next. A good time to use schemes might be when you find the line of succession not being as clear cut as you'd like. One way to get ahead is to simply remove the competition quietly and with no witnesses. See, I like that. Murder schemes come with the risk of discovery. If your attempt goes awry, it will make your character unpopular. No shit, Sherlock. Right. The sway scheme is made for increasing the opinion someone has of your character. Let's try it. Open the council view and right click on the court chaplain and sway. Every month 60% will increase by plus 25. 22 months. Right, excellent. Once in motion, your scheme slowly progress over time. The time before a conclusion is reached will vary depending on its success chance, which can be affected by relevant skills. In this case, it is affected by your diplomacy. If you're unhappy with your scheme, you can always cancel it by clicking the Abandon Scheme button next to the scheme. Open the Intrigue view. Inspect the Schemes tab. It should be open by default. Yes, it is. Books and secrets. Sometimes schemes can give rise to secrets. If you catch someone trying to commit murder, it's probably in their best interest to make sure you keep it quiet. You can also blackmail them to gain a hook. Hooks represent a favour you can call in with a particular character, encouraging or forcing them to do your bidding. As you play, you'll find many different ways to gain and use hooks. When you start playing, experiment with it. Next, let's pretend you have managed to get a hook on one of your vassals. Inspect the Hooks and Secrets tab. There we go. This weak hook can be used for a number of things. One is to increase obligations set by the feudal contract. To access the menu for changing your feudal contract, go to your vassal list in the realms. If you go to your vassal list, so that was over here, and in the realms view, let's shut this down. Scheme realms. Go to your vassal, click his right click on his portrait. Right, modify contract. You may notice that some entries not immediately visible. This is because when you have many interactions, the available character interaction menu only displays the most common ones. To display missing interactions, click the More button in each vassalage and court category. If I click, okay, I understand. War is an essential part of Crusader Kings. There are a lot of concepts covered, but for now, let's touch briefly on some of them. Wow. Next, so the most important things in any war are the battles which are fought by armies. Most of your soldiers will come from levies, but you can expand your army by employing men-at-arms. If things get really tough, you can also hire mercenaries, providing you have the gold. Military. Next, when a war starts, you'll be able to raise your armies from this screen via the Raise All Armies button. Ta-da! Rally points are mustering grounds for the levies, men-at-arms under your control. Rally point is in. Oh, right, there you go. So, if I click that, where's local army? Right, that's all of my men. Elite quality. Right, next. To start a war, you'll need a legitimate reason, casus belli. There are various ways to obtain a casus belli. You might have de jure titles that make you rightful liege of your target. You might inherit claims, or you could pursue holy wars against nearby infidels. Although these are the most common, there are dozens of different types of casus belli for you to discover and use as you play. The easiest and most straightforward way to acquire claims is to use Fabricate Claim on County. This is something your court chaplain sees to through one of his counsellor tasks. I understand. Soon we'll let you unpause the game. There are just a few things to go over first. Firstly, it's important to know that there are 5 different speeds available for you to play. Press keys 1 to 5 to easily switch between them, and you'll be able to pause or change the pace whenever you want. Secondly, for certain important events, the game will also pause for you. There's nothing wrong with playing at lower speeds, increasing the speed when things are quiet or slowing it down when you go to war. Generally, we recommend you pause the game when inspecting menus when you are faced with tough decisions. Starting the game. To start the ticking of time, unpause the game using the spacebar or click the play button. This will let days, months and years go by. Armies told to do so will move, events will occur on screen, letters will be sent and characters will age. Find a speed that is comfortable for you. You can always change later. I understand. Right, pause again. Now at first, as a first task, let's remind your neighbour, the Earl of Desmond, who his rightful liege truly is. If it happens to expand your realm, so be it. Using the character interaction system that we went over earlier and selecting him via the map, declare war on the ruler of Desmond. You should already have a valid casus belli, as his title is de jure as part of your realm. Come on in, sucker. Declare war. Seize earldom of Desmond. Declare war. Gain the contested county. He's vastly inferior. That's good. Enforce demands. White peace. Surrender. No, not really. Change objectives. No, that's the only one. Okay. 2 allies. He has no allies. Declare war. Okay, I understand. You have successfully declared a war. Next, you should rally your armies. The button has appeared at the top of your screen. Ah, yes. It says a button has appeared at the bottom of your screen to help you, but you can also do this from the military view. Wherever your rally point is, in this case Thomon, that's where your army will gather and await instructions. Note, you will have to unpause the game for your army to gather more than a handful of men. Leave it a few days and the army will form. Right, raise armies. Unpause, I understand. So. Oh, to move your army, left click on the army. Right, so let's just move this out of the way. And army, and right click on the area you want to go. To perhaps the enemy capital. I agree. Right. If you order your army across water, it will embark, turning it into a fleet. For now, let's stay on land. This is different. This is why, with your marriage to Infanta Urraca, the realm expects to throw a suitably extravagant wedding. Don't think so. It is well within my rights to collect a royal aid duty as part of this, but some may consider it tasteless to levy an extra tax during a time of jubilation. Of course I will collect it. Who pays for their own wedding? I'll let my subjects enjoy the festivities without worry or care. You gain 300 prestige or 75 gold. So I get to choose what I want to do. I want the prestige. I've got a lot of prestige already. Right, now that your army is moving, it's probably heading into air battle with the enemy. Yes, it is. Your culture is now fascinated by the communal government. Oh, look. I understand. The outcome of battle between two islands depend on a number of things. The number of levies both sides have, which, if any, men-at-arms either side is using. The commanders involved and even the terrain you're fighting on. Well, they're really going at it here, aren't they? So this is, you know, this isn't too dissimilar to what I used to see on Crusader Kings 2. It's the terrain that's come on a long way. But this is pretty good. Unpause. Here's my battle. Here's the people dying. They're nearly all dead. We're now... God, they melted away. They're now besieging. Siege progression. So 6 months left. Let's pause that. The outcome of the battle depends on a number of things, number of levies, blah blah blah. I understand. A siege. Your army is attacking an enemy holding. Click on the highlighted icon. Did that. The spearheads to find out how it's going. You need to win sieges with most wars as they increase your war score. Right, there's 50%. I imagine you need 100. Whenever a siege is won, it takes a few rounds of attack. The area will become occupied, changing its regular look on the map to a striped one. The colour of the stripe shows who has occupied a holding. Since your colour on the map is green, holdings that you have occupied have green stripes. A holding occupied by the Kingdom of France, however, would have blue stripes. One occupied by the Kingdom of England, red, and so on. I understand. What do I do? I'm waiting for this to go. Assault fort. The walls must be breached to start an assault. Daily progress 1.1. It's 5 months. To get an idea of who's winning war, we can always look at the war score in the lower right corner. It goes from -100 to 100 and changes based on battles and sieges won or lost. At 100 score, you can force the other side. What's this? While hosting lords and ladies from your realm and far from opportune realms near and far, some opportunities to portray my bishop in a good light have presented themselves. My lord, pray tell, who is the most dignified person you have heard of? Oh, so I spend prestige for this one. I gain prestige for this one. Well, I want this guy to like me, so I just say, oh, the bishop, of course. Of course it's the bishop. Oh, and my wife is pregnant. Lots of children to be had. Right, so there's someone marching here. These look like Vikings going next door. So I won a battle there. It's telling me how many I killed, how many survivors I had, how many I lost. Doesn't break it down too much. Initial army size. They didn't really have a chance really. I got 42 fame. Gets increased towards the next level. When a character gains prestige, it also gain an equal amount of fame. It's interesting. So I dismiss that. Next. Oh yeah. Can I enforce demands yet? They won't accept. They won't accept. So. All victories in your run, exact countries of these changes and cast ability being used. So I think I just need to take this land. See, look, this guy's being raided, ongoing raid, and it's they're being looted. 24 gold on the 2nd of April. Right, so you are now able to enforce demands on the enemy. Enforce demands. To my liege, may you live in harmony and contentment. You are a much greater foe than I imagined. In order to put an end to his bloodshed, I will comply with your demands. He's now become my vassal. I could take the land off him. So I can disband all armies. Do that. You captured who is a courtier. So I click on that and I can it's a child, isn't it? Negotiate release. Gain a weak hook. Yeah. So he's gone. Congratulations, you have now experienced what it's like to make it through an essential part of the game. Oh, I think that's the end. No, what now? There are many things you could do now that you have dipped your feet in the essentials. Crusader Kings is about setting your own goals. If you want a suggestion, we recommend you try to become the king or queen of Ireland. War is not the only way either. I understand. So that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. It encourages you to basically play this character, which essentially is, well, they used to call Ireland Noob Island, not Ireland as in the name of Ireland, but Island as in IS. So because it was where, if you wanted to learn to play the game in various degrees of difficulty, this was the best place to do it. If you wanted a difficult start, you would take something in the north or the east, and if you wanted an easier start, you'd take something in the south or the west. I always found it incredibly easy to be one of these three here. Difficult places I found to play were Brittany, when you could play as the Pope. I used to find playing as the Pope quite hard, actually. It was always a different Pope. He was dying. Someone else always selecting them. I never got a handle on that. Also, I think, I can tell already that the DLC is going to, they're going to release Republics. Playing as a Republic, I don't think it's possible yet. If it is possible, it's not going to be a true representation of being a Republic. I don't even know. This Genoa is a barony, so I don't even know how to create different government types. It's probably not possible yet. I will say something else. The map is much bigger than Crusader Kings 2 was at release. When Crusader Kings 2 came out, it was just Europe and a very strict piece of North Africa. I remember it was sort of cut off around here somewhere with Arabia, and that's about it. This is humongous. This is almost this is most of the known world, really. India, entirely. This is Burma or Myanmar, whatever you call it. And that's the Andaman Islands, which over just off the map here is Singapore. So some of this land will actually, I think it will be here somewhere. Some of this land there'll be Han Chinese. This is Tibet. So it's truly vast. Yeah, this would be Tibet here. This bit here there's Nepal. So this would be Tibet. So some of these people here could possibly be Chinese. So this truly is a humongous game. I mean, I don't know. The scope of it is amazing. It is truly amazing. So I'm going to leave it here now, and then I'm going to consider who I'm going to play as my first run through. I'll set this tutorial up as a separate thing, but I'm definitely, almost certainly going to play as probably a small count somewhere in Poland maybe, or Hungary, or I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe some Arab Muslim nation in Spain, try and change history and get into France. I don't know. I'll think about it over the next couple of days. I've also got other games that I want to show everyone. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you got some value out of this. And see you again soon.